Every month, your salary is deposited into your account and disappears like magic. There's no luxury, no excess, and yet the account never balances. What's going on behind the scenes in your finances? The truth is brutal. Small habits that seem harmless are draining your wealth day after day like an invisible leak. And the worst part, most people keep repeating them without even realizing it. Today, we're going to reveal the 5 most treacherous habits that are silently draining your money. Some of them are even praised as signs of financial maturity, but are actually traps in disguise. If your idea is to stop working just to pay bills, this video could be the warning you needed. First habit: underestimating small daily expenses. It starts like this: a $4 coffee at the corner coffee shop, just today, just to get a boost for the day. At lunch, you feel too lazy to cook, and the $12 delivery comes. Night falls, tiredness wins, and you decide to order just one more quick thing on the app, another $18 flying by without thinking. And there's more. The subscription to that streaming service that you don't even remember is still active. A meditation app that automatically renewed. A course platform that you don't even access anymore. It's $5 here, $11.99 there. Individually, they seem harmless. But add it all up for 30 days. Now multiply it by 12 months. And there you have it. More than $3,000 a year slipping through your fingers like fine sand. That's what a Bankrate survey shows. The average American wastes this amount just on small indulgences and impulse purchases. Now, here's the detail that no one tells you. It's not about the money itself. It's about the logic behind the behavior. These purchases are not planned. They happen because the brain has learned to seek immediate relief instead of future reward. And marketing knows this. That's why prices end in 0.99. That's why apps make automatic renewal as easy as possible. Everything is designed so that your attention never stops long enough to notice what's happening. It's a silent game between unconscious consumption and invisible accumulation. Now, think about it. What could you do with those same $3,000, invested consistently in a simple index fund with an average annual return of 7%? That amount could turn into more than $30,000 in 30 years, without any extra effort, without giving up on life, just by exchanging automatic consumption for conscious decision. But then comes the question that stops everyone. Okay, but I don't want to give up my little pleasures. And here's the twist. No one is saying to cut everything. The idea is different. The idea is to bring awareness where distraction once existed. It's to create a system where each small expense is intentional, not automatic. For example, instead of buying a coffee every day on impulse, imagine setting aside a specific weekly budget just for this pleasure. The magic happens when control becomes a habit. You continue to enjoy yourself, but the money stops slipping away where you didn't even see it. What if I told you that there is a simple way to maintain the pleasure and still multiply that money? We'll get there. Second habit: spending as an emotional reward, Friday night. The week has been chaotic. Meetings that never ended, a demanding boss, traffic, accumulated fatigue. The exhausted mind whispers, "Go, buy those sneakers. Order that expensive dinner. Book that trip." And then comes that almost magical phrase, "I deserve it." This is the most dangerous trigger of all, because it comes dressed as self-care, but underneath it is the emotional impulse. It is not rational. It is not planned. It is relief. It is anesthesia. And the worst part, it works for a few minutes. Dopamine rises, the mind relaxes, and soon after the bill arrives. Literally. Marketing knows exactly how to push this button. Phrases like, "treat yourself," "you are worth it," "today is about you," are created to justify unplanned spending using emotion. And they are effective because they feed a silent cycle. Stressful life consumption as an escape debt, as a consequence, more stress. Now think about this. When emotional rewards become habits, they don't offer real rest. They provide momentary pleasure at the expense of your future peace of mind. It's like putting a Band-Aid on an emotional wound that needs rest, purpose, or even therapy, not a new $300 purse. And here's a provocation. How many times have you spent more than you should saying, "It's just today"? And how many of those times did you end up spending just today again the following week? The problem isn't rewarding yourself. The problem is when consumption becomes your only escape valve. What really works is creating a system of intentional rewards, planned ones, with emotional value but also financial value. For example, instead of a random post-stress purchase, how about defining an achievement reward? Did you finish a difficult project? Set aside $50 to spend however you want. No guilt, no surprises, no disorganizing your month. This small change transforms consumption into an act of celebration, not escape. And what's more, it creates a healthy connection between effort and achievement. Because what you really deserve is freedom, peace, consistency, and not anxiety disguised as a little gift. In the next habit, the trap is even more silent, because it comes with the appearance of responsibility. Third habit, buying, because that's what adults do. There's an invisible script that many people follow without realizing it. Did you graduate? Time to buy a car. Got married? Now you need a big house. Got a good job? It's time to change your wardrobe, renew your furniture, take that expensive trip at the end of the year. But why? The answer almost always comes with a tone of conviction, because that's what successful adults do. But this answer doesn't come from your pocket. It comes from social conditioning. It was learned by watching your neighbors, following influencers, listening to family members, and silently absorbing what society has labeled as adult status. And therein lies the problem. Confusing maturity with consumption. Confusing responsibility with appearance. Confusing success with well-disguised debt. Today, a large part of the middle class lives a cruel paradox. They are in debt trying to appear prosperous. A $40,000 car financed for 7 years, which depreciates every day, has become a symbol of achievement. A house that is over budget, bought with a minimum down payment and maximum installments, has become an emotional investment. The new sofa, the latest generation refrigerator, the 75-inch TV, everything is paid for on credit cards. Everything is paid in installments. Everything is hanging. And freedom? It has been put off until later. Here's an uncomfortable question. How many financial decisions have been made in recent years based on the fear of appearing lesser? How many times has someone stopped saving to maintain an image? The truth is simple, but uncomfortable. Financial freedom rarely looks impressive on the outside. It doesn't post photos on Instagram. It doesn't draw attention at the mall. It happens in the silence of organized accounts, growing investments, and peaceful nights without late payments. Meanwhile, appearances demand more and more. They are like a bottomless pit. And the most curious thing, people who truly achieve independence often drive ordinary cars. They live in paid-off houses, and they wear simple clothes. Because they understood early on that real money works, it doesn't parade. This doesn't mean never buying nice things. It means not becoming a slave to the image you think you need to maintain. One of the greatest signs of financial maturity is precisely having the courage to live below the standard that others expect. Because those who truly build wealth do so in silence and reap the rewards in the long term. The next habit seems prudent, but it could be one of the greatest wealth destroyers of our time. But first, leave a like and subscribe here so you don't miss out on upcoming content that will help you get out of survival mode and build true freedom. Fourth habit, keeping money safely. I prefer not to take risks. I leave my money in the bank. It's safer that way. This phrase sounds responsible. It sounds mature. It sounds prudent. But in practice, it's a silent trap. A dangerous disguise for protection that is actually slowly destroying wealth. Let's explain with numbers. Imagine $1,000 saved in a savings account earning 0.01% per year, a common rate at large American banks. Meanwhile, inflation is around 3 to 4% per year, and in recent years it has exceeded 7%. The result? That same $1,000 is worth less with each birthday. Less food, less gas, less rent, less everything. The difference is invisible at first, but it builds up like rust on your purchasing power. Leaving money idle today is not neutrality. It's a guaranteed loss. And the cruelest thing is that many believe they are doing the right thing, out of fear, because of a lack of financial education, or because they heard that investing is too risky. But here's the truth that almost no one talks about. Not investing is, today, the biggest risk, because the game has changed. In the past, a savings account provided minimal protection for the value of your money. Today, it serves the bank more than it serves you. And here's a shocking fact. According to the Federal Reserve, more than half of Americans do not have any type of investment in stocks, funds, or private retirement. They are idle, and the cost of this is immense. Imagine a person who saves $500 a month in a bank account for 20 years. At the end of that period, they will have $120,000 in nominal value. But in real purchasing power, something around $80,000 or less depending on inflation. Now compare it with someone who invests that same $500 a month in an S&P 500 fund with an average return of 8% per year, more than $275,000 in the same period. This is the difference between retiring peacefully or with worry, between saying yes to your dreams or depending on the government. Investing today is not about getting rich quick. It's about not getting poor slowly, and you don't have to start with a lot. There are ETFs, automated funds, retirement accounts, like Roth IRA, and apps that allow you to start with $5, $10, or $20. The most important thing is not the amount. It's the habit, because every dollar that's idle is being eroded, and real security isn't in the bank. It's in financial education and the ability to make your money grow along with you. But the final habit is the most treacherous of all, because it pretends to be planning. Fifth habit: postponing important financial decisions. I'll start investing next year. When I have money left over, I'll build up a reserve. As soon as I finish paying this off, I'll start thinking about the future. It seems logical. It seems sensible. But deep down, it's just a sophisticated form of self-deception. Postponing important financial decisions is a habit that doesn't shout. It whispers. And this whisper is treacherous because it looks like prudence, when in fact, it's paralysis. Do you know why this is so dangerous? Because time, which could be your greatest ally, becomes your enemy. Let's put this in perspective. A person who starts investing $200 a month at age 25 and does so until age 35, accumulating 10 years of contributions, can end up with more money at age 60 than someone who starts with the same $200 at age 35 and invests until age 60. This happens because of the magical effect of compound interest. The sooner you plant, the more time multiplies. But those who postpone cancel this effect before they even start. And that's where the emotional trap comes in. The human brain is terrible at dealing with distant rewards. It will always prefer the now, because the now is comfortable, it's concrete, it's easy. But financial freedom is built in a place that no one likes to visit: the discomfort of the beginning, the first investment, the first serious budget, the first time saying no to an expense to say yes to your future. And the more you postpone, the harder it gets. Because the cost is not just financial, it's mental, it's emotional. With each year that you postpone, the guilt grows, the frustration, the feeling of falling behind. And the cruelest thing? Most people only realize it when there's no more time to fix it, when the future, which seemed so far away, arrives with a bill in hand. So here's an uncomfortable truth. Those who wait for money to be left over to start, never start. Because money is never left over. It needs to be set aside before anything else. It's like paying an invisible bill that, over time, turns into freedom. And we're not talking about grand gestures. A financial plan isn't born from a leap, but from a step. It's about starting with what you can, the way you can, and not stopping. If you're waiting for the perfect moment, here it is, now. Because a plan that never gets off the ground is just another comfortable illusion. And now that you've seen the 5 habits that drain wealth, here comes the most important part: how to turn this game around in a practical, real, and possible way. Money doesn't disappear. It doesn't evaporate. It doesn't slip through the cracks in your house, nor does it mysteriously disappear from your statement. It always goes somewhere. The question is it going where you consciously decide, or is it being carried away by the winds of your habits and desires that you no longer realize were planted in you? This is where many people are wrong. Most think the problem is earning little. But in thousands of cases, the problem is the same: lack of intention. The person doesn't know where the money goes. They only know that it goes away. At the end of the month, there's a month left over and there's a lack of balance. And the most insidious thing is that many of these habits seem harmless. It's just a treat. Everyone does it. I'm not spending that much. But then you add the coffee that becomes routine, the impulse purchase to relieve anxiety, the installment payment for something you didn't even need, the forgotten subscription, the money that's sitting there just in case. And there you have it. There you have the perfect recipe for building a comfortable life on the outside and stagnant on the inside. But now that has changed. Now these habits are no longer operating in the dark. You have seen the trap. You have seen that the problem is not money itself, but what it represents. Daily decisions disguised as normality. This is the most liberating and, at the same time, the hardest part of the financial journey. Accepting that if wealth is not being built, it is because it is being drained. Not by bad luck, not by the government, the boss, the economy, but by your habits. And here comes the naked truth that almost no one wants to hear. Everyone has a financial plan. The difference is that some create it intentionally, and others let old habits decide for them. The good news? You can change this script. You don't need a miracle. You don't need to win the lottery. You just need something that is rarer than money. Clarity about what matters. Clarity about what is noise. Clarity about who is in control. You or the autopilot. What if each of these habits were reversed? Small expenses become automatic savings. Emotional rewards become real goals. Appearance gives way to freedom. Idle money starts to yield. Postponed plans become concrete actions. It's not about being perfect. It's about being awake. If you've made it this far, you're already ahead of most. The next step is to use this knowledge. Review your habits. Choose one to change today. And remember, money is a tool. Don't let it be drained by carelessness. Did you like the content? Like and subscribe to continue this journey of building wealth one conscious choice at a time. See you in the next video.